And we are back. Peace, love, and blessings, everyone. Yes, it's the STEM Files, the voice of STEM talent in Black culture. On tonight's dynamic episode, we have Danielle Lewis, systems engineer, who's going to be talking to us about funding the next generation of Black engineers at your HBCU. Make sure y'all get your pens and pads out or your tablets, however you take notes, and tune in for more of this dynamic episode after this. Man, I don't care how many times I see that intro. I think it's so dope every time. All right, yes, family. Again, we're back. This is the STEM Files, where we highlight the best and brightest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Again, family, every Thursday and Saturday, 8 p.m. is your brilliant engineer, Tariq Cardiac. Make sure you follow us on our various platforms, the STEM Files on Facebook, the STEM Files on YouTube, the STEM Files on Instagram, and the STEM Files on Twitter. I am your humble co-host, Jabril Muhammad, aka Jabril Engineer. I am a civilian mechanical engineer focusing on naval ship fluid systems with a background in material science and engineering, typically joined by my illustrious co-host, Tariq Muhammad, aka Tariq Cardiac, a biomedical research scientist with a background in cardiovascular pathobiology, which is the study of how diseases form in the heart and other blood vessels. Family, as I say every single time, the show is not about us. It's about the awesome guests that we bring on the show who have a wealth of knowledge in their respective arenas. They're going to share with you what makes them so special and how you can benefit from what it is that they have to offer. So without further ado, I want to introduce to some, but present to all, Danielle Lewis. How you doing, sis?
Hey, doing good. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. I love your spirit already. Like, your smile's infectious. I love your hair.
That's
We're gonna have
all
a good time. No, no, but it's good. It's a good. If you can pick one face, let it be a smile. Listen, if y'all first gem of the night, if you could pick one face, let it be a smile. Write that down for everybody. All right, Danielle. Listen, I'm here to have a good time, educate the people. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and kind of how you got into the arena that you're in from a systems engineering perspective, and even what you do as the HBCU STEMmer. Talk to us about that, and we'll move forward from there.
Okay, so to start off, I'm from Pell City, Alabama. I love to lead with that. No one hardly knows where that is. It's not that far from Birmingham, Alabama. So if you don't know anybody from Alabama, you just met one. I I went to school at Oakwood University and University of Alabama in Huntsville. Oakwood is a HBCU, a private HBCU in Huntsville, Alabama. They have a joint program with the University of Alabama in Huntsville. So because we didn't have our own, we still don't have our own engineering program, right? So when I went to Oakwood, that was like, honestly, I think the only school I applied for. I knew that I was going into this 5-year degree program, and not even everybody finishes it, in 5 years. But so I went into this degree program. I got a degree in math and mechanical engineering. Throughout that time, the good thing about Oakwood being a smaller school was you were able to like make those connections with professors and whatnot. We had a NSBE chapter as well. I got to be the president of our NSBE chapter. Yeah, anyone tuning in, National Society of Black Engineers. I'm a very big advocate for that. It helped me so much. Got scholarships from it, all that. Also, like exposure to leadership opportunities. So that probably NSBE was one of the things that got me really into STEM in a more like professional setting, like going to national convention. We went to national convention in Indianapolis, and that's where I got my first internship at Cummins Inc. And so if anyone, if you guys haven't heard of that, a lot of the 18-wheeler trucks that you see driving down the street carrying goods, those have Cummins engines in them. We are in like marine ships and stuff too, or locomotives. So we're very we're a global company. We're everywhere. But so I got my first internship through that NSBE convention, and then a second internship, and then I joined full time at Cummins in 2016 after I graduated, after my 2 graduations. And then I I started working there in something called the Engineering Development Program. And so what the Engineering Development Program is, it's a 3.5-year rotation program where you get to experience all the different aspects of the company. And the thing that I liked about that the most was that I got to pick the things that I was interested in. Right? So they, besides the first role that I came in, straight from school, I didn't get to pick that one, but everything else I got to pick. I went into controls. My background is mechanical engineering. I went into controls. I went into, we got a non-technical rotation, which is I did in product planning. So to understand, how the technical side fits with, marketing, and you got to release the products at the right time or no one's going to buy them and stuff like that. Right. And then my last role, I got into our newest business unit, which is called the New Power Business Unit, which is dealing with electric vehicles, right? So everyone knows the diesel engine, the components that make up the diesel engine. That's what people think when they think Cummins, but we're actually a technology company, and being what's the word? Staying ahead with the times and being able to deliver electric vehicles as well. So that's the team that I work in now. So outside of the mechanical engineering background that I had, and taking that controls background, which is more or that controls experience that I got from the rotation program, allowed me to kind of put both of those things together. And that's why they call me a systems engineer, because controls is my specialty, but I know how to bring the things together as a system, check this device, check that device, and then it comes all together, and it has to come together seamlessly, right? Or something's not going to work. And so yeah, that's a little bit about my technical background, my career background. But yeah, I love it here. I think it's a great company, and I think it's a way that I get to explore and use my engineering degree in a way that I hadn't thought that I would be using it. So I thought I wanted to do biology at first and then completely segued from that. But even now, like mechanical engineering, controls engineering, all of that coming together and being able to use the skills that I've learned so far with my career. So it's been great.
Awesome. First off, I want to say thank you, because you gave me so much material to work with. I'm going to give a couple of shout outs in the comments. Brother Tariq Muhammad, you say Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, bro. This is Kubila, mother of my partner, Brother Tariq. Alaikum salam, sis. We got Daphne Summers in the comments as well. Family, make sure you are liking, commenting with questions, comments, and sharing to your friends on social media, off social media, so we can get as many people in here as possible to partake in this awesome session. So as I'm listening to you, it's funny, because first off, I gotta mess with Tariq, because as you heard, we have 2 different backgrounds. I'm an engineer. He's in the biological sciences, and you're not the first person that started to want to be in biology and then changed to engineering. And every time that happens, I say, we got one. we got another one. Man, you gotta come to this engineering game.
Come to the dark side, the bright side.
Disciplines. Absolutely. So you mentioned some core areas I really want to unpack. You talked about starting with controls, working in product development, having that marketing, understanding that marketing and management business side of what you do, and also working in the more innovative side of Cummins, which is the electric vehicles, right? So talk to us about why, as an engineer, the marriage or healthy marriage of your technical acumen and your business or professional acumen is so important when
Mhm.
kind of working in projects or working in cross-functional teams.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really important because if you think about a product, right? You think about all the gadgets that go into that, all the engineering savvy that went into that product, right? But then if you don't understand what the people want, they call it also like voice of the customer. If you don't know what the voice of the customer is, if you don't know what the competition is, if you
Right.
don't know what's your competitive advantage, like all of those things, you got this, you think it's a great product, but to the rest of the world, when you introduce that product, it might not be great. So, or it might not be the right time for that product. So, and like you said, the healthy marriage of it is being able to work with the technical mindset, the technical people that like doing the tinkering and whatnot, and work with the people aspect of it, which is kind of what I got to do when I was in that marketing role. Going to like customer sites and talking to folks and understanding what they wanted and things like that, and being able to put those together to deliver at the right time, deliver the right product, whatever right price point, all that stuff comes together, and that's how businesses are successful. So that was in my 6 months of being in that role, by the way. But I feel like I got some taste for it. And it's funny too when you talk about you say from people leaving biology to go to engineering,
Right.
you kind of have that that
Right.
little competition with Tariq. But it's funny because what you'll see is people that have that technical background and people that have that know how things work, being able to problem solve, all that. A lot of those folks do leave the technical side and they go into marketing. They go into the marketing side. They go into running a business, because they have that background in the technical side. They know how the things work and they are able to articulate it in a way to someone else that is simple enough, or is you know what the customer wants because
Right.
you've seen that technical side of it as well. So I've seen a lot of folks in times in their career, like they'll go into marketing or leave the technical side of things. So I think that's another thing too I like about my job is I feel like I do have that flexibility, and people that I've talked to, a lot of folks that I've talked to, they're not like, what's the word, pigeonholed into you got to do do just this thing. You can't build your skills over here or anything like that. So I feel like they do a good job of allowing people to like move and stuff. And the other thing I was going to say is from a engineering side, for anyone that's watching this, it's not just let me do my work, let me focus on this,
Right.
writing
Right.
this code or whatever, but the people side of it too. So if you can master both of those things or be sufficient in both of those things, then you're going to be ahead in some sense of the next person that does a really great job coding and does a really good job designing or whatever, but can't relay the idea or can't relay the information to that the average person would be able to understand it. And so I think those are good skills to have as well.
Mm. You know, again, I'm gonna have to take a step back because every time you answer a question, you give me so much material to work with, and it's beautiful. Um, I want to talk about the concept of conveying versus communicating something. One of the things that my current supervisor at my job, working in mechanical engineering as a civilian for the Navy, he talked about is, when he looks at someone's resume, right, when he's talking to someone, he's assuming, you went through this 4 or 5 years or whatever for engineering school. There's an assumption that there's some level of technical expertise or understanding there. But can you
Mm-hmm.
communicate? Are you
Yeah.
personable? Can you sell a product, sell a process, sell a program, and make it palatable for those who are consuming that what you're saying, whether they be
Yeah.
the layman or they be the expert, right? So
Yeah.
what you said about the product development and the marketing, you might think you have like the greatest product ever, but we don't live in a vacuum. So I can sit there and tinker, and I can get the remixing, and yo, this is going to be the dopest piping system ever. But now you
Yeah.
get to the you're behind trend. You know, it's funny. It reminds me of the album that Lil Wayne dropped a few years ago, and I think it's the first one he had dropped in a while. Now, a lot of the critique I was hearing was people felt like it was not on trend. Like he took too long to release it, and the music kind of was reminiscent of a pastime versus what was trendy or what was a current style today. So I guess some
Hmm.
people didn't like, consume it in the way that maybe it was supposed to be consumed. So,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you saying that. And then I know so many people, like, when I graduated from University of Pennsylvania, I was one of the few people I think in my class that actually worked in engineering. A lot of people went to consulting. They went into academic research. I was in material science and engineering. That's a largely research based discipline with the
Hmm.
failure analysis, metallurgy, and the product design, side of things as well. So, those are definitely some great points. So, talk to us about, so you're working in systems engineering, you're working in projects and programs, and you are constantly challenging yourself, right? Like you said, you're not in a vacuum. You're not just doing your code. You're working in teams. Talk to us about a challenge that you've overcome as an engineer. It could be either in the workplace or
Hmm.
outside the workplace, but using that engineering mindset to meet and overcome that obstacle.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. It's like an interview question. I'm thinking, I feel like one of the things that stands out is just the fact that, like I said, like I'm not a controls engineer. Like my background isn't electrical engineering. So I had to learn some skills that maybe someone that studied, that's an EE might have developed in school. But kind of being able to get out of my comfort zone to go after that thing that I was interested in, right? So I was interested in controls. I was interested in learning more about that side of the company and what we do in that aspect. And so, being able to talk to the right people, the right resources, understanding what opportunities are out there, and going from there. And I feel like with some of the things that I'm doing now, like if it's in Simulink or if it's in MATLAB or whatever, like I said, just building those skills so that I personally have the confidence in myself that I'm like delivering what I ought to be delivering. Because and I would tell people this, like, oh yeah, I'm not really not a controls engineer. It's like, but you're an engineer. Like, stop counting yourself out because you
Right.
have problem solving skills, you have the inquisitive mind, you have that curiosity. So don't count yourself out on this. Just you might have to do a little bit more groundwork to find out something. But at the end of the day, if you're learning, and once you learn it, then the next step is mastering it, and just like any other skill, right? And so some of the examples of that was like learning what's it called? If you guys have heard of CAN communication, it's called Stanford Controller Area Network, and there's like these SAE standards and everything to be able to communicate from
Talk
one
about
device.
the standards. Yeah.
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 all the EEs, and everybody probably knows this, but yeah, understanding those standards and making sure that it will function, the vehicle will function properly, because there's all of these intricacies of how that works, how that system works, and this wire here and this wire there and everything. So being able to talk to the right people, being able to take some classes on it too, like some trainings, I should say, on it, and just do the legwork myself to be able to build my skills and build my confidence in that area. So I think for anyone else, you know, that's on here too, like understanding what your resources are. So whether that's in school or whether that's at your job, you know, being able to find out what the resources are and then having the determination and the diligence to go and you know, take those classes, take that extra class, and you know, figure out that thing that you were lacking in, and now it's on par with the, you know, the next person. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You talked about, again, so many great things. Learning leading to mastery. First step is learning, next step is mastery. It's not enough that I'm familiar. It's not enough that I'm adept or proficient, right? I should be, my goal or desire, if this is something I'm saying I really like or I'm enjoying, should be mastery, should be expert level or advanced, right? As you were talking, um, I started to think about the fact that for anyone listening that is interested in engineering, please know that you're not doing problem sets in the workforce. You're not doing, you know, just group projects. Even though you're working in groups, a lot of what you're going to do will require what's called OJT. That's on the job training. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there aren't too many jobs at all, particularly engineering jobs where you're not being trained on a system, a process, certain components to understand, and policy to be able to be the best version of yourself as an employee, as a team member, as an expert, right? So understanding that learning curve, that activation energy, if you will, you know, I'm going back to my studies with that one. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be high, depending on where you come in. But the same way when you went into collegiate education, that you know you may not necessarily been the quote unquote smartest, right? You try to do your best to figure things out and ask the right questions, right? Open yourself to being vulnerable. Hey, I don't know this. And upon understanding, hey, I don't know this and I know I don't know this, how can I move forward in that step? So like what you were saying, right? Learning, mastery, vulnerability, but always
Yeah.
understanding that my goal and desire is to be the best I can be or the best version of myself at this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, and someone that I work with, his favorite thing to say is, you know, I don't know that answer, but I know someone who does. So, you know,
right.
even making those connections to be able to, if you don't know the answer, go find it, go talk to your mentor, go talk to your buddy that's your colleague, and you know, don't let that one thing that you don't know slow you down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, someone has joined us.
Yes, yes. I'm so sorry for being late. I'm glad I was able to at least come on at the halfway point. So what did y'all already talk about? So I won't ask the same question again.
Well, she has so graciously expanded on her vast background in systems engineering. So we talked about her different positions, controls, product development teams, the innovative side of what Cummins does from the electric side. We talked about, you know, overcoming difficulty, you know, understanding that, hey, I'm put into a new position, and hey, this is not my background. I'm not an EE. I'm not an electrical engineer. We talked about going from, she's another one from biology to engineering. So I have to just throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of that, you know, going
Okay,
around.
okay.
You know what I'm
See
saying?
you got. I
So,
see. I see. All right.
so we talked about a lot, and we were just about to go into kind of really talk about HBCU, you know, STEMers and the active funding and whatnot. So I was definitely about to segue into
Right,
that.
right. Okay, cool. So that's a virtual run, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So the HBCU STEM education run, it's a virtual 5K. You can walk or you can run, which I think is the cool part, that it is virtual. You know, I've been in different 5Ks before, and you got to be there at 8 o'clock on the dot. You know, you got to be there 10 minutes early, or if
Yeah.
you want to get a good
I
spot.
remember them days.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was missing, honestly, I was missing doing 5Ks with all the, you know, COVID and everything that was going on. And there are other virtual 5Ks for sure, but I was thinking I'm not gonna personally pay my money on something that I'm not passionate about. So why don't I start my own? So why don't I start something, a 5K benefiting a cause that I'm passionate about HBCU STEM students. I am a HBCU STEM grad, studying math and mechanical engineering. And that is where my heart is, honestly. And so I feel like I should do my part to give back. I remember when I was in school and, got different scholarships here and there, and what it meant for me, what it meant for my stress level, my stress level. It meant that I didn't have to be working. But it helped me fun through school so that I could take that time to study. And so what that means is, it's just good all around. Money is never it's hardly a bad thing.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. When I was in high school, I did in the 10th grade I did a 10K, and then in the 11th grade I did a 10K. So that experience was very interesting. Like it was, well, I did the first three miles I actually ran. The last 3 miles, the 2 miles leading up to the last one I ran, and then the last mile my coach made me sprint the last mile. And I'm telling you, I thought I was dead. My body was here, and then I saw I was here, and I saw my body over there. So it was just a lot of energy that it took. So my question is, since it's virtual, how does it work? How do you not cheat? So how do you do you keep your camera on? Like can you take your camera off if you don't want nobody to see you taking a break or something like that? So how does it actually work?
Yeah, so because it is virtual and it's, got people signed up all over the country. I know we got some folks in New York, Florida, Alabama. I'm in Alabama right now, so I can run with my family, all over. So the cool thing about it being virtual is all you need is like a run tracker app, whatever your app of choice is. And you record yourself on that app, so when your time is when you run your 3.1 miles. There's also a half marathon if you choose to do that, and you just send your results in. So honestly, there is some checking of it. If someone says that they did a half marathon in 10 minutes or something like that, okay. That's not really
right.
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 But I will say we are going by the honor system. So if you pay your money for your registration and you choose to, not do the race that you sign up to do, I don't think you're really cheating anyone other than yourself. We're trying to promote this as a way to raise awareness, raise funds, and promote health. So with those are the three things in mind, I hope that anyone that's signing up, anybody that's watching this, is had the right intentions when they signed up,
Right.
And but I also would encourage anyone that's going to sign up to send in your pictures, because we want to see you, your beautiful sweaty faces at the end of your race.
Right.
I did this, I accomplished this. We have one lady, she signed up for her first half marathon, and I'm so honored because she chose to do that with us. And I'm excited about it. We've been training for the past 6 weeks now, trying to get people maybe even from off the couch and doing a 5K if this is their first event, or like I mentioned, that other lady, from doing 5Ks to doing her first half marathon. So I think it's going to be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it. The first day is tomorrow. The first day of the run is tomorrow. So you have up until 11:59 tonight to register. And then we're kicking things off bright and early tomorrow, 8 a.m. Well, me and my family getting up 8 a.m. We're running, we're doing our thing, and we're going to enjoy it.
Wow.
And you guys
that's beautiful.
Invited to come be a part of it. It's anytime that you want between next Sunday and the 2 Sundays from now, basically. So it's on your own time, basically.
Okay. No. And you said that you use this system to help get you through school, or like?
So when I was in school, I graduated in 2015. When I was in school, I did get some different scholarships, like some through NSBE, some through what's the name of it? Like there's a Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. They had a scholarship, a bunch of different scholarships, and thank goodness I was able to graduate with no student loan debt. And so I was like, hey, I need to. What can I do to? Thank you. What can I do to help support the next person? And I just remember in all my scholarship essays, like I would write, like I want to, once I get established and get to a point where I can help somebody else, that's going to be something that I have as for myself as a personal goal to help the next person. And so this funds isn't helping me directly for school or anything, but this would be to benefit different students that are in STEM, that are studying STEM at HBCU. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
I do have a question in regards to that, because this is something near and dear to my heart. Even though I went to a PWI, which I did not know what that meant. I didn't listen. Going to a PWI, no one uses that terminology. Like predominantly, right?
Cool.
So like, it's not until I was working as a professional and I met other HBCU grads and said, "Oh, you went to a PWI?" I said, "What is that?" I was like,
"Yeah."
My younger brother goes to Howard, and he's studying mechanical engineering to try to go on to get his doctorate in nanotechnology. And I was curious, who exactly qualifies for the monies or the scholarships that are generated from this program, and how do they apply?
Yeah, so this is our first year starting off. So we have we're trying to build like different partner schools. And so right now for each year, we're going to have a different school that we're going to donate the funds to. So for this year, I'm donating the money to Oakwood University. So there's students that are in their math and computer science department. That's where I sprouted from, and so that includes majors in like computer science, math, engineering. I said computer science. Yeah. So there might be some other majors that I don't have off the top of my head, but yeah. So the biggest thing is that they have to have a financial need. And so if they don't have, if they already have school paid for, this might not be for them, but I want to be able to give, a small token to someone that needs it, someone that is trying to get through school and needs some money put on their bill. So really what they will have to do is, and it's open for all the classifications too. So, if you're freshman or senior or super senior, like how I was technically, because I was in a 5-year program.
Right.
But you just have to say, what motivates you about choosing STEM? Like, why did you choose STEM? I think it would be good for you to articulate that. And it's also good the fact that, for this scholarship and scholarships that will come after this, I hope that maybe this might give a freshman, if they're seeing this, might give a freshman a little bit of push to start earlier, right? So I didn't start applying for scholarships until I was a junior in college, and it just wasn't apparent to me. Like I need to be getting free money because it's out there, for someone that's whatever the qualifications are that's out there. Some no GPA requirement and things like that. So I think there is something for everybody that's out there.
Right.
But it took someone to tell me, like, what's going on? Like, you're a Black female engineer, and people are investing in you. They want to see you be successful. They want to see you be able to get through school and join the workforce as an engineer, as a future engineer. So after, it took that one sentence to make me serious about it. And from then I was getting, money, thank God, money was coming in because it just worked out. It worked out. So I was thankful. I really was thankful. And it just changed my outlook on it, because it just made me a little bit more diligent. It made me a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more hungry to take it seriously and to be successful. So I think that was a long-winded answer, but the final answer to your question was anybody. So freshman freshman to senior at Oakwood University. Once it in the fall, you'll see, you know, all the details on how to apply. So yeah, and then next will be another school.
Okay, I got one question that I'm gonna turn it over to the audience. Now, I'm not hating or nothing like that, but do you ever see you doing this scholarship program for the life sciences and the physical sciences for your brothers like me, you know, in the biologies and the biochemistry and you know, and or pursuing a career in medicine? Do you see like HBCU STEMmer getting involved in that as well, outside of just engineering?
Yeah. And so that's why I feel like I need to meet folks like you know.
Yes.
What I know is NSBE. What I know is our math and computer science, you know, club that we had at the school, and these different organizations that are available for, you know, SWE, Society of Women Engineers, SHIP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, if I didn't get that wrong. And that's where my home base is or whatever. But I don't know about the, you know, maybe the National Chemist Society and things like that, or the National Biology Society. So I think that's science, right? That's the S in the STEM, right? So I think for sure those majors would be included in this, you know, going forward for the future schools that we have. So we have some love for all the branches in STEM, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, we definitely be talking about that, because that's something that, you know, with me being in a different area of STEM than Jabril, you know, my mind is geared or tuned towards things that are living, you know, and my brothers, you know, all rigid with the engineering and you know, all that big clicking and clanging and banging stuff. I'm more into like, you know, what's going on? Like, is it alive? Like, can it grow? Can it reproduce? You know, that's where my flavor is. So like I say, I'm not hating. I ain't throwing no shade on my brother, but you know, we got to get some life science money in there somewhere. So we're gonna talk about that.
Can you educate me a little bit? Like, what are some like the equivalent of NSBE to like the science community?
Yeah. Most definitely. You have the American Chemical Society. You have the National Black Society of Chemists. You have the same thing for biology. You have some medical associations for Black people as well. So it's just NSBE is just very popular, and it's like #1 when it comes to engineering. It's in terms of like
the #1 student organization,
right?
Student-led organization
exactly,
in the world.
exactly. in the world, you know. So like I say, I can't hate. You know, y'all got it together, but you know, there are a lot of life sciences and chemical stuff, you know, societies, but it's just not as popping as I would say as NSBE is.
I got you. Know, okay, cool. Yeah.
So say that again.
I said I got the mental notes. I gotta look up some of those accounts and you know, get connected with the science side of things. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So we got some questions from the audience. This one is from my mother, Kubila Muhammad. She said, "How do we show your guest support for the virtual 10K?" I'm assuming she's asking, how do you donate if you can't participate?
Yeah, so to donate, I actually have a Run sign up page. The Run sign up page has, you know, the information about you know, the HBCU STEM education run. It also has a button that says pledge, you know, to donate or pledge a token if you are so inclined. And we do have a goal. We're trying to get to $3,000 right now. We're about at 1,400 right now. So with the runners plus the donations, you know, we're gonna make it happen. But yeah, that's how you support, and also just to share or to show us some love on our Instagram page or anything like that. We are, like I said, this is our first year starting out, so trying to build that community and build the recognition, and hope we get some folks coming, more folks coming for next year too.
Awesome. And if anyone wants to visit the website or learn more information about the program, just check out the link in the description. No matter what platform you're watching the show on, the link is either in the caption or in the description. So just hit that first link you see where it says HBCU STEMmer. Now we have another question from Chantel Muhammad out of Chicago. She said, how can professions in engineering benefit the Black community?
That's a good question. So I'm reading that as professionals, maybe if I'm thinking professionals, how can professionals in engineering benefit the Black community? So I know, personally for my interest. So one of the ways that I try to give back to the Black community is this initiative that I'm starting right now. So, with the HBCU STEM education run, because HBCUs graduate 25% of the African Americans in STEM. So knowing kind of those figures, knowing that knowing that information, giving money and funds to that the HBCUs that are historically Black wells, Black wells for Black talent. I think investing in that well is a great opportunity to support the Black community and our future leaders. Also, what these gentlemen are doing as well, being that platform to talk about, hey, STEM and science and engineering, all that, but in a cool way, in a somewhat informal way, like we're having a conversation. This is what I do. It's not someone throwing a book at you or someone putting up a PowerPoint on the screen. It's like, this is what I do in my everyday life. This is what I like about it. These are things I would change, or this is something that I had a challenge with, to be able to raise that awareness and maybe get kids started at a younger age, invested in STEM. Another thing that I like to do is with my company, I do different, like outreach opportunities. So there's something called Technovation that's teaching young kids, like elementary school kids, STEM concepts while they're building things. Like they will be building and tinkering with like plastic cups or bottle caps or whatever. And but from that playing, they're learning the engineering design process. They're learning how to plan, how to execute, how to test it, and then rebuild it if something goes wrong. And then also there's something called the Cummins-Nesby Integrated Pipeline Program, and that's a scholarship opportunity for students in North Carolina A&T, Howard, and Purdue University. And so those are some of the things that I'm personally involved in, but I know there are so many other professionals out there that are dedicated in each of their own ways. Maybe there's something in the community that that someone started to teach coding or to teach the engineering design process or anything like that. I think the information is out there. I think the information is out there on how you can volunteer your time as well to be able to support some of these initiatives or start your own. I think there's a wealth of information out there.
Dope.
I'd like to add to that really quickly. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I just would like to add to that really quickly. Thank you, Chantel, for asking that question. So I would say, in addition to what you said, which was impeccable, that the engineering disciplines or engineering professions should theoretically and actually provide and produce some of the highest level and most pristine thought and impact leadership for our various communities. What do I mean when I say that?
Right.
You look at some areas in the Black community, you have issues with things like trash, you have food deserts, you have unclean water, all of which, if I and a team sit down at a round table and go through the systems engineering process and think and innovate, we can come up to with solutions to benefit that very community or communities. What happens with engineering is, in its purest form, it is a problem solving discipline. So when it meets a problem, it's like when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Something has to give. And if you do your engineering correctly, the seemingly immovable object will move. So when you talk about building black infrastructure, that is where engineering and these different professions come in come into place. From everything from things from a civil perspective, like hospitals and banks and supermarkets, to the energy perspective, renewable energies, recycling, how to clean up the environment, to the agricultural perspective. How do we, you know, start to turn over some of these vacant lots and make gardens, get into aquaponics, hydroponics, aeroponics, these types of things. So I love what you said. So there's the level of the concept of access or limiting gatekeeping, the visual aspect. You know what I'm saying? I see myself as something beyond the entertainer, beyond a sports player, etc. And I'm able to now equip myself and equip my community with the requisite knowledge and skill sets to move forward. So that was an awesome question. And I thank you for your answer as well.
Yeah, and one other thing I just thought about too, from a financial aspect too, engineers are, I would say, typically well paid. So if that's something that is, I think everyone wants a rewarding job, but also a job that is you can feed your family with, so from a financial aspect as well, there's financial benefits too that can be gained for the Black community.
Absolutely. That's a great point. As like you said, it's a skill set. You know what I'm saying? You go into something, it's something that if you, for whatever reason, go without a job, you can create something for yourself and really start to be able to produce. Man, it's so crazy. We're already almost 50 minutes in, and at this point, we have started doing something new, and I actually want to have myself and Tariq do this. So we've started allowing a shift of the chairs on the table. What do I mean? So now we've been interviewing you. If you throughout this time frame have had any questions, or coming on the platform have any questions or things you'd like to know from myself, Tariq, or the both of us, now you may participate as interviewer, and we will be interviewee. So this time is yours to ask us any questions you may have.
Okay, cool. So my first question is, engineering, biology, how did y'all, I don't know the whole background, like how did y'all meet and how did y'all come up with this idea of the STEM files?
Well,
I love that question.
Yeah, I love it because we love answering it too. So Jabril and I met through a mutual mentor, brother by the name of David Hassan. He was originally here in Virginia, then he moved to Philly. When he moved to Philly, he met Jabril. He was like, okay, these two brothers got to meet. Like, there's no way that we can have, two young Black men interested in science and not know each other, especially in the Nation of Islam, which Jabril and I are very strong members in. And now, as far as us being, different areas of science, our mentor, David, he only saw the fact that we were interested in STEM. It didn't really matter if it was two different areas of STEM. All it mattered was that we have a scientist and we have an engineer. That's all you need, especially two Black young scientists and engineers, So, and then as far as the podcast goes, we saw a need, or not so much a void, but a need to highlight the best and brightest in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but not only highlight these individuals, but also work with them as well. We don't consider the STEM files a show. This is a live networking session. Let me say that again. This is a live, right? Exactly. This is a live networking session. This isn't a show. A show is where you interview somebody and you move on. You may work with them after that if you're interested in what they're doing. We don't do that. We try our best to work with every guest that we've had on this platform after we interview them, because this was the platform where we got to network, we got to talk, see what they're about, they got to see what we're about, and we can build, so that was the whole idea behind the STEM files. And I thank God every day, we thank God every day for David, for recognizing the fact that we needed each other to build what we're building and to continue to be that light for Black scientists and engineers.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I hope I did that question justice, Jabril.
You did, bro. You covered that well. Just make sure you remember that honorific and put brother in front of that David.
Right.
Yes, sir. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
But you want to add
answered
something to
it
it, bro?
beautifully. I would just say, and I like this part of the story because for me,
Yeah.
it's a bit tickling, but it speaks a lot to who you are as a person. So one of the first things Tariq asked me when
Oh
we met
Lord.
was to be a part of his wedding as a fellow scientist. He
I
was
know it's kind of
passionate
weird.
that all of the groomsmen had to be in the sciences. And
Okay.
you don't hear that all the time. And I wanted to do it, but I was unable to do it at that time. And then he started talking to me about our parent company for this podcast or media arm, which is Original Man Scientific, which is a science and technology company geared towards delivering R&D advantages to your community. So
Uh-huh.
we are passionate about striving to be able to equip people with uh, innovation assistance and invention help to be able to bring things to market, create their own legacy, and really impact our community first and have it branch off from there. So many of our people's ideas are frustrated for a lack of access, a lack of identity, mentorship, etc. So that was something that was very much at the root of our meeting and our blossoming in a relationship from there. So I just wanted to add that part because that's a really key part for me, and I hold on to that.
Yeah, and looking back on that now, like I'm like, I wouldn't have done that today. Like my growth in now, I'm not saying that it shouldn't have happened, but my growth and development as a person kind of changed over the last because I've been married going on 6 years now,
Mhm.
and my growth and development since that point, has changed dramatically and drastically. Because I really, like Jabril said, I wanted all my groomsmen to be in the sciences, but I had just met bro, like. We had just started talking like that's something you see out of a movie somewhere, hey, can you be my
Right.
groomsman real quick? I need somebody to be here. But we connected on such a deep level that it may seem weird to the person hearing about it, but the way we connected that first year was insane. Like I've
Mhm.
never met anybody I was able to work with right off the bat without ever having to spend months or weeks at a time getting to know this person. We just immediately got to work. So that was one of the to me one of those amazing aspects of the beginning of our relationship because we was able to just take off. Like we knew what we wanted, we knew when we wanted it, and we just did it. You know.
Mhm.
So we're firm believers in if you find somebody and you find something that you can work with or who you can work with, just go ahead and do it. Don't wait on it.
Mhm. That's great, man. That's great. Thank you for the background, because I was like,
Thank you
this
for the question.
is official. Like, man, I like when I say thank y'all for having me on here, I do appreciate it, and to be able to hear from you guys, hear about your background, and like you said, a live networking event. So,
Yes.
my other question is too, like, how did you guys get into STEM? Yourselves. How did you guys get into STEM?
Oh man, has anybody ever
Yeah.
asked us that? That's a good
Yeah. Well,
question.
not on the show, but maybe individually.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like on the show, like I mean, in
Yeah.
general, yes, but like it's crazy because I feel like she's the first one to ask us that in this capacity. Oh
Yeah.
man, I guess I could
Definitely.
start. Dang, how do I get involved in this? Like if so, I'm gonna be honest. It feels like when I rolled out the womb, I just started playing with connects and stuff. That's how it feels. But honestly, it doesn't
Right.
happen. So both Tariq and I were homeschooled growing up. So for me, before second grade, I had gone to either private institutions or private Islamic institution before being homeschooled from second to ninth grade. Why is that important? It was during that time that I really discovered my love of things like tinkering and STEM. And my mother and father were very instrumental in cultivating and nurturing that love because they always put me around things to enhance it. Whether it was different model sets, crystal growing kits, connects.
Mhm.
I was interested. I went from being interested in like basic science to meteorology, being infatuated with weather and even devastation after tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff, to going
Oh,
into environmental science, and finally material science and engineering. So it was really from that early stage of being able to have an environment of just people having my best interest at heart and loving me, versus being kind of shipped through from grade to grade or held back for whatever reason. It was like, hey, if I needed more time with this, I had it. If I was accelerated in this, I had it. If I could skip a grade, I did. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
All while having a very multifaceted, well-rounded, and eclectic upbringing when it came to my academic career. So that's kind of my story when it comes to getting into STEM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same with me. Jabril and I, we're cut from the same cloth. We're both multi-generational Muslims. We were both homeschooled. We both had parents that had a desire to not only support their children, but to see their children successful as adults. And it's crazy because my mom's blowing up the chat right now, and Jabril's mom was blowing up the chat on the episode for Thursday. That's mad funny.
Right.
So it's my mother pretty much did the same thing. She was actually a single mother. And my father, he supported us, but they just weren't in the same household. So I didn't get that aspect of my childhood like my brother did, but it was still the level of support to see that I accomplished my dreams and my goals was still there.
Yes,
She
sir.
was a proud parent of a homeschooling committee association where she got a lot of her resources from, like her science equipment, her
Right.
books, different things of that nature. Jabril knows what I'm talking about. So it was just a lot of getting to know other students in homeschooling, because let me put it this way, homeschooling, and I don't know if this is something that is an actual thing or a big thing, but what I've noticed with other homeschool peers of ours is that science is the most eclectic and chosen area to go into as a homeschool student. That seems to be like the most attractive to a child that's being homeschooled,
It's the most
because
interesting.
it's the most interesting. It's a lot of tinkering, a lot of getting your hands all messy and whatnot. It's a lot of freedom involved in science and technology. Not that there's not freedom in other stuff, but STEM is just a lot more finger food like, when it comes to being homeschooled. So it was that, and then my mother, she didn't believe in grade levels. We were allowed to learn things that you would have to wait to high school or college to learn. We were opening up astronomy textbooks, learning about molecular medicine. Like, what 10-year-old is reading a book on molecular medicine? Like that's just, you don't see that. But in homeschooling, the freedom is yours. You can do whatever you want. I'm sorry, I'm just reading my mom's comment. She's blowing up.
Right. She
But
she is lit.
yeah,
Kabila, she is lit right now. So much. This is amazing. This is amazing.
yeah. It's beautiful, but it's just a great experience, having that level of care and concern for your child to be successful, to do what they said that they want to do. The parent is working for you on behalf of your goals, your dreams.
That's right.
She may be raising you, but when it comes to your dreams, your parent works for you. Like they are grinding for you all the time, even when you become an adult. Like, my mother still talks to me about medicine and science. Like, did you learn anything new? Is it any exciting? Like, what's this deal? What's the deal with COVID? Stuff like that. She's
Right.
a constant support. So that support system is the most important thing. They don't have to like what you want to do, but as long as they support it, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's so great. That's so great. And it sounds like, I think the best part of both of those stories is like y'all started early. Like you saw what you're interested in and you got to take off from there. You had the support, both ways to be able to explore that in the way that you wanted to explore that is so important.
Right. And just to kind of shed some light on, because I don't think I answered the question quite clearly, how I got into, like, how I would started liking it, or I didn't like nothing else. I would just be straight with it. Like, nothing else really appealed to me like that, especially when it came to the human body. Like, that was that was it. Like you couldn't tell me nothing else. As long as I had that, I was straight, you know. So that's how I got into the field I'm in now with biomedical sciences and eventually going on to become a physician. But the human body was like my thing, you know. As long as I had that, as long as I could study as much as I could on that, you know, it was whatever from there.
Mm-hmm. So you're not squeamish at all, like
no.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, that's not me. I'm the opposite. Like I welcome that stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Well, if you have any other questions, you know, definitely feel free to ask. We're at the hour mark right now of the STEM files, and I don't know, Jabril, did you promote the Black-owned business yet?
I did not. I got so enthralled in engulfed in the conversation that I completely forgot.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so let's do that. Let's definitely do that. So we have Figures Wireless. This is a Black-owned technology company doing everything from earbuds to cell phones, etc. Family, like, listen, they are as cool as they look. If you're looking to support Black in a way not traditionally done, at least right now, right? Tap in with Figures to see all that they have to offer. If you are married to iPhone and Android, it's not that deep. It's really not. You know what I'm saying? You know, team iPhone, team Android, we're gonna be team Figures. We're gonna check it out and see what they have to offer. So definitely tap in for more information there.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you can definitely check out the link in the description. Is I think it's the third link, and you can now the second link. Just check that out and be amazed by what brother Freddie Figures has been able to do with smartphone technology. You know, it's a great product. A lot of our people are using it. He has great reviews, so definitely check it out. Did you do the social media tapping yet?
I didn't do that either.
Okay, cool.
Oh, man. I had it. Listen, I had it all in my head. I had it all right, and then the conversation was just amazing, and I was like, oh man, I knew it was something I was supposed to do, but we're gonna do it now.
All right, bet. So at this portion of the show, we like to pull from our guest social media accounts and highlight just a random picture, and they pretty much tell us about, you know, what's going on in that picture. You ready? All right, awesome. So this is a social media tapping. So what's going on in this picture? I see you got a medal for something. What's up with that?
Oh, so this is me after my first half marathon. So
nice.
This is so cool. I didn't know we were gonna do this. So this is me after my first half marathon in Indianapolis. What's it called? The Indy Mini. And so it was actually like around this time last year because it was Cinco de Mayo. And okay. What happened was my friend was signed up for this half marathon and something happened. Something came up. She couldn't go anymore. But she was like, I don't want to waste my ticket. Do you want my ticket? And I was like, sure, I'll take it. And when I say I rolled out of bed, I literally rolled out of bed and walked. I'll say that I walked this half marathon.
Wow.
So half marathon was at 13.1 miles. I met this lovely elderly couple. They took me under their wing. They helped me push through it because I would have been out there literally by myself. Didn't know a single else person out there. And but you know, I did it. I can say that I did it. And I kept going from there. So I was excited about that. That was a great. I'm glad you brought this picture up. That was a good time.
Dope. Okay, cool. Now, do you ever do you have a collection of these things from your race, or like is that just kind of like the main one?
Yeah, I have all my medals. I need to get they have like these racks, right? So I've done at least I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 5Ks. I want to say 4 half marathons, and I did 1 full marathon 2 years ago. So those are my prides and joys a little bit, my accomplishments, you know. And then they give you cool shirts too. We're gonna give everyone, by the way, if you sign up for the race, we're gonna give you a shirt. So that's
okay.
One more plug.
Yeah, I know people that just do stuff just for the paraphernalia. So, you know, I know some of the people I know would just be tapping into that just for the shirt, you know. And I would want to have something that reminds me of something I accomplished. That's a good feeling to have something and be like, man, I did this,
Yeah,
and I pushed through it and it was hard, but I made it happen,
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It really is. Yeah, it's a
So,
great feeling.
okay.
It don't
All
feel
right.
good when you're doing it, but it's a great feeling.
Got you. All right, Jabril, can you tell us what's going on with the final call?
Absolutely, family. We got to talk to you about the number one newspaper on the planet. This is the Final Call newspaper, the flagship teaching tool for the Nation of Islam. To this week's uh, front page is "We Charge Genocide." Family, go to www.finalcalldigital.com to get your digital subscription to this Black-owned and operated paper, giving you local, national, and international news. And if you are in the local Philadelphia areas or Richmond, Virginia, surrounding areas, tap in with your brothers Tariq and Jabril, and you can get a physical copy as well. Got to get you good news every day, all day.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So definitely tap into that. And this has been another edition of the STEM Files. Before we go, Danielle, is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before we leave? Anything about HBCU STEMmer, being a Black engineer, or anything that you just want to, drop on the audience?
Sure. Yeah. I would just like to close with, any support that you're able to give to the HBCU STEM education run. It's greatly appreciated. This is our first annual. I'll say that first annual run. We're doing this next year, and I want to, invite you because it is for a great cause. So, like I said before, school's not cheap. Any financial support we can that we can give these future Black STEM leaders, these future Black engineers, these future Black coders, all of that. I think it will be money well spent, but in a fun way as well. I enjoy running. I know that there's some folks on here also that enjoy running or walking. So thank you guys so much for the time. I can't thank you enough. It was great.
Absolutely. And for those who want to sign up, it's not too late. Like Sis said, you have until 11:59 tonight to register for the virtual run. The link is in the description. Once again, the link is in the description. If you watch if you watch it on Facebook, it's right there above in the caption. Just go ahead and hit that. Share it as much as you can. All right.
And last but not least,
go ahead, bro.
No. We'll finish that. And I'll say it afterwards.
No, I'm just gonna say, how can we contact you? Like, what's the best way to contact you for more information?
Yeah, so my Instagram at HBCU STEMmer. That's HBCU STEMER. That's the best way to get in contact with me.
Awesome. And if they don't have Instagram, how can they contact you?
That's a good question. Let's see. I do have an email. My email is Danielle at HBCUSTEMmer.com. That's my email. So.
All right. So that Danielle, which is what you see right in front of you, and then at HBCUSTEMmer.com. That's simple. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave that up there for people to put that together. And absolutely. My mom says you're beautiful, and this is a great show. All right, cool. All right, so thank you all for tuning in. Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say, speaking of moms, right? We just will be remiss if we did not extend a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the world, all of our mothers watching, and just the women. We're talking the Nation of Islam not to get so overly engulfed in the commercialization of holidays, because we know every day is Mother's Day, right? We're taught that if there were no God, that a woman would be the only thing worthy of worship. And that's something big and heavy to think about. And that heaven really lies at the feet of woman. So when you think about being a woman, being a mother, make sure that you take time day after day to honor your mother, your mothers, right? Those, leaders in the community that serve as surrogates, if you will. So we just want to extend that happy Mother's Day, and also to remember going forward that it's not about the day, it's about the life you live and honor and respect for those that the day is supposed to be about. So I
That's
just want
right.
to extend
That's
that.
right.
And this has been the STEM Files, where we highlight the best and brightest in science, technology, engineering, mathematics as the voice of STEM talent and Black culture. Thursday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Jabril Engineer, Tariq Cardiac, the STEM Files on all platforms. We have had the lovely Danielle Lewis. Until next time, family, peace and love.
Peace.
Awesome.
Peace.
Thanks, y'all. Good night.
Good night.